What happens when the person you die for is the one plotting your downfall? Amara standing in her best friend's bedroom, hands trembling, staring at an open diary. Page 12. The page that's about to destroy everything. Her phone buzzes. Kemi's calling. She's 3 minutes away. Amara's heart pounds. She shouldn't have read it. But now she knows the truth. And there's no going back.
Fair African Tales. Subscribe and turn on the bell for new stories.
Amara and Kemi meet on the first day of secondary school in Lagos. Two 11-year-old girls who bond instantly over shared laughter and stolen biscuits during break time. They become inseparable, finishing each other's sentences, defending each other against bullies, dreaming together about futures that shimmer with possibility. Where you find one, you find the other. That's what everyone says. Two halves of the same soul. The years blur past in a montage of shared memories. They study together for WAET exams, Amara always explaining the mathematics problems that make Kemi's head spin. They apply to the same university, both getting accepted to study at the University of Lagos. They rent a small apartment together in Yaba, splitting costs, splitting dreams, splitting everything. But here's what nobody sees from the outside. Amara gives and gives and gives. When Kemi's mother falls ill during their second year, Amara withdraws money from her savings to help pay the hospital bills. When Kemi fails a crucial course and faces being held back a year, Amara spends 3 weeks tutoring her, sacrificing her own study time, making sure her best friend succeeds. When Kemi's laptop crashes right before final year project submission, Amara buys her a new one, brushing off Kemi's protests with a warm smile and a simple phrase that becomes her trademark. That's what sisters do. They graduate together, both securing jobs in the bustling corporate world of Lagos Island. Amara lands a position at a prestigious marketing firm, her creativity and work ethic quickly catching the eye of senior management. Kemi gets hired at a smaller company, doing administrative work that pays less, but she insists she's happy. Amara never stops giving. She connects Kemi with influential people at networking events. She shares job opportunities that cross her desk. When Kemi struggles to afford her share of rent, Amara quietly covers the difference for 3 months straight. When Kemi needs a new phone, new clothes for an interview, money for her younger brother's school fees, Amara is there, wallet open, heart bigger than her bank account. "You don't have to do this," Kemi says one evening, the two of them sitting on their small balcony, watching Lagos traffic crawl past like glowing serpents in the darkness below. "I want to," Amara replies, and she means it. "We're family, Kemi. Blood couldn't make us closer." Kemi smiles, but the smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. Amara notices but doesn't question it. She never questions Kemi. 3 years pass. Amara gets promoted to marketing director, a meteoric rise that has tongues wagging in the industry. She's only 26, brilliant, unstoppable. The promotion comes with a significant raise, and the first thing she does is take Kemi out for an expensive dinner at a restaurant in Victoria Island. The kind of place where the menu has no prices and the waiters wear white gloves. "I'm so proud of you," Kemi says, raising her glass of champagne. But her smile looks tight, her eyes shadowed with something Amara can't quite name. "We've come so far," Amara responds, clinking glasses. "And there's so much more ahead for both of us." That's when the small things start happening. The tiny cracks in the perfect facade. Amara begins noticing Kemi on phone calls that end abruptly when she enters the room. She catches fragments of conversations, whispered names she doesn't recognize, places Kemi claims she's going, but details that don't quite add up. When Amara asks about it, Kemi laughs it off, changes the subject, deflects with practiced ease. Just some stuff with the family, she says. Nothing important. Then there's the dinner party incident. Amara throws a small gathering at their apartment, inviting colleagues and friends. She's excited to show off her success, to celebrate in the space she shares with her best friend. But throughout the evening, Kemi disappears into the bedroom for long stretches. When guests ask about her, Amara covers, makes excuses, feels a strange unease settling in her chest. After everyone leaves, she finds Kemi in the bedroom, on her phone, face illuminated by the screen's cold glow. "Everything okay?" Amara asks. Kemi jumps, nearly dropping the phone. "Fine, just tired." But she's not tired, she's distant. And the distance grows wider every day. Weeks later, Amara's company announces a major expansion, planning to hire for several senior positions. She immediately thinks of Kemi, calls her during lunch break, excitement bubbling in her voice. "This is perfect for you. I can get your resume directly to the hiring manager. With my recommendation, you're basically guaranteed an interview." There's a long pause on the other end of the line. "I don't know, Amara. I'm not sure I'm qualified." "Are you kidding? You're brilliant. I'll help you prepare. We'll practice interviews together like we did in university. Remember?" Another pause. "Okay, yeah, thanks." But Kemi never sends her resume. When Amara follows up, Kemi makes excuses. Too busy, not ready, maybe next time. And Amara, confused but supportive as always, doesn't push. The strange behavior intensifies. Kemi starts coming home late, sometimes not until midnight. She's evasive about where she's been, offering vague explanations about work events or meeting old friends. Amara wants to believe her, wants to trust the person she's known for 15 years, but doubt creeps in like smoke under a door. One Saturday afternoon, Amara bumps into Kemi's colleague from her office at the supermarket. They chat briefly, and the colleague mentions how they missed Kemi at the company's monthly social last night. "She said she wasn't feeling well," the colleague explains. "Hope she's better now." But Kemi had told Amara she was at that exact event. She'd come home at 11:30, talking about the food, the music, the boring speeches from management. She'd described it all in detail. She'd lied. Amara's heart begins to race as she loads groceries into her car. She sits in the driver's seat for 10 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel, trying to make sense of it. There has to be an explanation. There has to be a reason. Kemi wouldn't lie to her, not after everything they've been through together. But the doubt has taken root now, and it grows like wildfire. The breaking point comes on a Tuesday evening. Amara leaves work early, feeling unwell, a migraine pounding behind her eyes. She takes a taxi home, climbs the stairs to their third-floor apartment, fumbles with her keys. The apartment is empty. Kemi's supposed to be at work until 6, but her bag is on the couch, her shoes by the door. Amara calls out but receives no answer. She walks through the apartment, checking the bedrooms, the bathroom. Empty. Then she hears it. A muffled sound from Kemi's bedroom. Not Kemi, someone else. Amara's hand hovers over the door handle. Her heart hammers. She pushes the door open. The room is empty, but the window is open, curtains billowing in the evening breeze. On the desk, Kemi's laptop glows with an open browser tab. Amara shouldn't look. She knows she shouldn't. But her feet carry her forward anyway. The screen shows an email inbox, Kemi's personal email, not the one Amara knows. A different account entirely, and the emails visible on the screen make Amara's blood run cold. Subject lines about job applications, companies Amara had recommended Kemi to, but the dates are wrong. These applications were sent months ago, before Amara even mentioned the opportunities. And they're not applications, they're acceptance letters, congratulations messages. Offer letters for positions Kemi claimed she wasn't interested in, wasn't qualified for, didn't have time to pursue. She'd been applying behind Amara's back, getting jobs, and turning them down. Amara backs away from the laptop, mind spinning. This doesn't make sense. Why would Kemi do this? Why lie about not being interested when she was clearly pursuing these opportunities? She turns to leave, to wait for Kemi to come home, to demand answers. But that's when she sees it. On the bookshelf, between two novels, partially hidden but just visible enough to catch the eye, a leather-bound book. Dark brown, worn at the edges, with a small lock that hangs open, broken. A diary. Amara knows immediately what it is. She's seen Kemi writing in notebooks before, always private, always guarded. But she's never seen this one. This one has been hidden. Her hands shake as she reaches for it. Everything in her screams that this is wrong, that reading someone's diary is a violation of privacy, of trust. But hasn't that trust already been broken? Hasn't Kemi been lying for months? She pulls the book from the shelf. It's heavier than expected, filled with pages and pages of Kemi's familiar handwriting. A bookmark protrudes from somewhere in the middle. Amara opens to that page. Page 12. And everything she thought she knew about her best friend crumbles to dust. The entry is dated 6 months ago. The handwriting is neat, deliberate, the words carefully chosen. I hate her, it begins. Amara's breath catches in her throat. I hate Amara with every fibre of my being. I hate her success, her perfect life, the way everyone looks at her like she's special. I hate how she gives me things, always giving, always helping, always making me feel like I'm her charity project. Does she think I don't notice? Does she think I don't see the pity in her eyes every time she offers to help me? Amara's hands tremble so violently she nearly drops the diary, but she keeps reading, unable to stop, unable to look away from the poison spilling across the page. Today she told me about another job opportunity, another chance for me to ride her coattails to success. She doesn't understand that I don't want her help. I don't want her connections. I want to succeed on my own. But how can I when she's always there, always interfering, always making sure everyone knows that I only got where I am because of her? The words blur as tears fill Amara's eyes. So I'm going to teach her a lesson. I've been applying for jobs she tells me about, getting offers and turning them down. I want her to think I'm weak, incapable, too afraid to take opportunities. Let her keep giving. Let her keep helping. Let her build me up as her perfect little project while I work on my own plan. Because what she doesn't know is that I've been networking on my own, building my own connections, pursuing my own path. And when I finally succeed, when I finally get everything I deserve without her help, she'll realize that I never needed her at all. The page continues, each word a knife to Amara's heart. I've been documenting everything. Every time she gives me money, every connection she makes for me, every opportunity she thinks she's creating. I'm keeping records. Because when the time is right, I'm going to show everyone who the real Amara is. Not the generous friend everyone thinks she is, but the controlling, condescending person who needs to feel superior by keeping me dependent on her. I'll expose her, and everyone will finally see what I've known all along. She's not helping me out of love. She's helping me because it makes her feel powerful. Amara staggers backward, her legs hitting the bed, forcing her to sit. The diary falls from her hands, landing open on the floor. But she can still see the words, still feel them burning into her brain. Page 12 continues with more details. Plans Kemi has been making, people she's been talking to, ways she's been positioning herself to take credit for projects at work that Amara helped her with. Strategies for undermining Amara's reputation while building her own. And then, at the bottom of the page, a single line that stops Amara's heart. If she ever finds this and reads it, I want her to know I meant every word. The apartment door opens. Footsteps in the hallway. Kemi's voice calling out, "Amara, your bag is here. Are you home?" Amara can't move, can't speak, can't breathe. Kemi appears in the doorway, sees Amara sitting on the bed, sees the diary on the floor. For a moment, neither of them speaks. The silence stretches. Sharp and suffocating. Then Kemi smiles, not a surprised smile, not an apologetic smile, a knowing smile. "You read it," she says. It's not a question. Amara finds her voice, though it comes out broken and raw. "How could you?" Kemi walks into the room, calm, collected. She picks up the diary from the floor, brushes it off, holds it gently. "I wondered when you'd find it. Took you longer than I thought." You wanted me to find it. Eventually, yes." Kemi sits on the desk chair, crosses her legs, looks at Amara with eyes that hold no warmth, no friendship, no recognition of the 15 years they've spent together. "I've been leaving clues for months, the broken lock on the diary, leaving it slightly visible on the shelf. I moved it to different spots to see if you'd notice. I even left it on the coffee table once. But you were too busy with your perfect life to see it." Amara feels like she's drowning. But why? "Kemi, I've done nothing but love you. I've given you everything." That's the problem. Kemi's calm facade cracks, anger flashing across her face. "You gave and gave and gave, and every time you gave, you made me smaller. Every time you helped, you reminded me that I couldn't do it on my own. Every time you succeeded, you made my failures more obvious. Do you know what it's like to live in someone's shadow? To be known as Amara's best friend instead of just Kemi? To have people congratulate me on my job, my apartment, my life, and then whisper that I only have those things because of you? I never meant, I don't care what you meant." Kemi stands, pacing the small room like a caged animal. "Your intentions don't erase the reality. The reality is that you made me dependent. The reality is that you controlled every aspect of my life under the guise of friendship, and I'm done with it." Amara's voice rises, pain transforming into anger. "I controlled you. I gave you opportunities. I supported you when nobody else would. When your mother was sick, when you needed money, And you never let me forget it, did you?" Kemi interrupts. "Every gift came with invisible strings. Every favor came with the unspoken expectation that I'd be grateful forever, that I'd owe you forever. Well, I'm cutting those strings, Amara. I'm done being your pet project." "That's not fair. That's not what Isn't it?" Kemi grabs her laptop, spins it around to show Amara the screen. Look at all these jobs I applied for on my own, positions I researched, companies I contacted, interviews I prepared for without your help. And you know what? I got offers, multiple offers. because I'm good at what I do. I always have been. But you convinced everyone, including me for a while, that I was only successful because of you? Amara stares at the screen, seeing email after email confirming interviews, offers, opportunities that Kemi pursued independently. Her mind reels, trying to reconcile this with the friend she thought she knew. If you got all these offers, why are you still working at that small company? Why didn't you take any of them? Kemi's smile returns, cold and calculated. Because I was waiting, building my case, documenting everything. You see, I accepted one of them, a position at Sterling Industries, Senior Marketing Manager. They offered it to me 3 months ago. Sterling Industries, the biggest competitor to Amara's company, a direct rival. You're working for Sterling? I start next month, and you know what my first project is? Pitching to some of your biggest clients. Clients I met through you. Clients who trust me because I'm Amara's best friend, or at least I was. The betrayal cuts deeper than anything Amara has ever felt. You used me. You used our friendship to get close to my clients. I used the connections that you constantly shoved in my face. You wanted to help so badly? Well, you helped me build a network. Congratulations. Your generosity finally paid off. Amara stands, her whole body shaking. Get out. This is my apartment too. I pay rent here. Or did you forget? Oh wait, no, you paid my rent for months. Does that mean you own me? Is that how this works? Get out. Kemi gathers her laptop, her diary, moves toward the door. But she pauses, turns back one last time. You want to know the saddest part, Amara? You actually believe you were a good friend. You actually think your generosity was selfless, but it wasn't. It was about control. It was about keeping me beneath you so you could feel superior. And the really tragic thing, I think part of you knew it all along but was too afraid to admit it. That's not true. Then why did you give so much? Why did you always have to be the hero? Why couldn't you let me struggle, fail, learn on my own? Why did you need me to need you? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Amara opens her mouth to respond, but finds she has no answer. Or worse, she has an answer she doesn't want to voice. Kemi sees the hesitation and nods slowly. That's what I thought. Goodbye, Amara. I'll be out of the apartment by the end of the month. You can finally have your space all to yourself. No more charity cases to manage. She walks out, leaving Amara standing in the bedroom, surrounded by the ruins of a friendship she thought was unbreakable. The next 3 weeks are torture. Kemi moves out quickly, efficiently, taking her belongings in batches while Amara is at work. They don't speak. They don't text. The silence is absolute and crushing. Amara throws herself into her job, working 16-hour days, taking on extra projects, anything to avoid going home to the apartment that now feels haunted by memories. Her colleagues notice the change. Her boss expresses concern. But Amara brushes them off with forced smiles and claims that she's fine, just busy, just focused. But at night, alone in the too quiet apartment, she reads page 12 over and over again. Because in her final act of cruelty, Kemi left the diary behind. On the coffee table, open to that exact page, a parting gift, a reminder. Amara analyzes every word, searching for truth in the accusations. Was she controlling? Did she give because it made her feel powerful? She replays 15 years of friendship in her mind, examining every gift, every favor, every moment of generosity through a new lens. The doubt eats at her. Some nights she's angry, convinced that Kemi twisted everything, that the betrayal was unprovoked and undeserved. Other nights she's overcome with guilt, wondering if there was truth in Kemi's words. If her generosity had been selfish after all. A month after Kemi moves out, Amara's boss calls her into the office. Her stomach drops. She knows what's coming. "We've lost 3 major clients in the past 2 weeks, her boss says, voice grave. They've all moved to Sterling Industries, and I've been told that their new senior marketing manager, someone named Kemi Adeyemi, personally pitched them. The client specifically mentioned that they trusted her recommendation because of her relationship with you." Amara's professional facade cracks. I didn't know she was reaching out to them. She used your connections, your relationships, to poach our clients. That's not just unprofessional, Amara. That's a declaration of war. Her boss leans forward, eyes sharp. "I need to know if you were involved in this. If you helped her in any way." "No, I would never." Then why did this happen? How did she get so close to these clients?" Amara's voice breaks. "Because I introduced them to her. At networking events, company parties. I thought I was helping a friend build her career. I didn't know she was planning this." Her boss studies her for a long moment, then sighs. "I believe you. But the damage is done. The board is furious. Some of them are questioning your judgment, wondering if you're a liability now. I'm fighting for you, Amara, but you need to fix this. Get those clients back. Prove that this doesn't define you." Amara leaves the office feeling like she's been physically struck. This isn't just personal anymore. This is her career, her reputation, everything she's worked for. That evening, she does something she swore she wouldn't do. She calls Kemi. The phone rings 4 times before Kemi answers. "Hello, Amara. We need to talk. I think we've said everything that needs to be said. You're destroying my career." "No," Kemi's voice is cold, clinical. "I'm building mine. There's a difference." "Using my clients? That's theft, Kemi. That's unethical." "Is it? You introduced me to them. You made those connections available to me. I simply followed up. That's networking. That's business. Or did you think you owned them too, just like you thought you owned me?" "I never thought I owned you." "Then why are you so angry? If we were truly equals, if our friendship was truly balanced, you'd be happy for my success. But you're not happy, are you? You're devastated, because this wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to succeed without you. I wasn't supposed to become competition." Amara's hand tightens around the phone. "You planned this for months. You used me deliberately. That's not competition, that's betrayal. Call it what you want. I call it liberation." "From what? From someone who loved you? From someone who would have done anything for you? From someone who needed me to be less than her so she could feel like more?" Kemi's voice softens slightly, taking on an almost pitying tone. "Amara, I genuinely hope you learn from this. I hope you find real friends, relationships built on equality instead of dependency. But that's not my problem anymore. Goodbye." The line goes dead. Amara sits in the dark apartment, phone still pressed to her ear, listening to the silence. And for the first time since finding the diary, she allows herself to truly cry. Not angry tears or confused tears, but tears of grief for a friendship she realizes she never truly had. Or perhaps had, once before success and generosity and unspoken expectations twisted it into something toxic. The next morning, Amara makes a decision. She's not going to fight Kemi for the clients. She's not going to engage in a corporate war that will only leave both of them damaged. Instead, she's going to rebuild. Differently this time. She starts by being honest with her boss, explaining the full situation, taking responsibility for her role in creating the vulnerability that Kemi exploited. Then she does something she has never done before. She asks for help. She reaches out to colleagues, admits she's struggling, accepts support instead of always being the one providing it. Slowly, painfully, she begins to examine her patterns, the constant giving, the need to be needed, the way she unconsciously positioned herself as superior by always being the helper, never the helped. She starts therapy, something she'd always been too busy for before. And in those sessions, she begins to understand the uncomfortable truth that Kemi had thrown at her. Her generosity had been a form of control, even if she'd never intended it that way. The realization doesn't absolve Kemi of her betrayal. Planning to destroy someone's career, deliberately using friendship as a weapon, that's cruel no matter the justification. But it does help Amara see her own flaws, her own contribution to the toxic dynamic that ultimately destroyed the friendship. 3 months pass. Amara rebuilds her client base, working harder than ever, but with a new awareness. She sets boundaries, she accepts help, she allows herself to be vulnerable, and slowly her reputation recovers. Then one day, she receives an unexpected visitor at her office. Marcus Okafor, CEO of one of the clients Kemi had poached. He walks in unannounced, his expression unreadable. "Mr. Okafor," Amara stands surprised. "I wasn't expecting you." "I know, I wanted to come in person." He sits without being invited, a power move that makes Amara tense. "I wanted to tell you that I'm moving our account back to your company." Amara blinks, shocked. What? Sterling's campaign was good, professional, well executed, but there was something missing: authenticity, passion, the kind of work you used to do. He leans back, studying her. Ms. Adeyemi is talented, but she's driven by the wrong things: anger, resentment, revenge. Those might fuel you temporarily, but they burn out. You can see it in the work. I don't understand. Why are you telling me this? Because I've been in this business for 30 years, and I've seen every kind of professional relationship there is. I've seen partnerships destroyed by betrayal, friendships ruined by competition, and I've learned that the best people aren't the ones who never fall. They're the ones who learn how to get back up. He stands, extends his hand. "Welcome back, Miss Amara. Let's create something great." As he leaves, Amara sits in stunned silence. Then, unexpectedly, she laughs. A real laugh, one that comes from deep in her chest, releasing tension she didn't know she was holding. She's not okay, not fully. The betrayal still hurts. Trust issues linger. Some nights she still pulls out that diary and reads page 12, torturing herself with the words written there. But she's learning, growing, becoming someone new, someone better. 6 months after Kemi moved out, Amara is working late when she receives an email. The sender, Kemi Adeyemi. Subject line: "I'm sorry." Amara's finger hovers over the delete button. She should delete it, move on, let the past stay buried. But curiosity, that same curiosity that made her read the diary in the first place, makes her click. The email is long, rambling, filled with half apologies and justifications. Kemi writes about her own struggles, her own therapy sessions, her realization that revenge hasn't brought the satisfaction she expected. She writes about feeling empty, about missing their friendship, about wondering if there's any path to reconciliation. But then, at the end, she writes something that makes Amara's blood boil. "I know I hurt you, but you hurt me first. Your generosity was suffocating. If you'd just treated me as an equal from the beginning, none of this would have happened. So in a way, we're both responsible for how this ended. Amara closes the laptop, rage bubbling up. Even now, even in her apology, Kemi can't take full responsibility. She has to spread the blame, justify her actions, make herself the victim. And in that moment, Amara makes her final decision about their friendship. She opens her laptop and writes a response. Short, simple, final. Kemi, I've spent 6 months examining my role in what happened between us. I've acknowledged my flaws, my patterns of behavior that were unhealthy. I've worked to change, to grow, to become someone better. But here's what I've learned. My imperfections didn't justify your betrayal. My mistakes didn't earn your cruelty. Good people in toxic situations leave. They set boundaries, they communicate. They don't plan elaborate revenge schemes and deliberately sabotage careers. You asked if there's a path to reconciliation. The answer is no. Not because I haven't forgiven you, but because I've forgiven myself for believing that giving you everything meant you'd give me at least honesty in return. I hope you find peace. I hope you learn to succeed without needing someone else to fail. But I won't be part of your journey anymore. Page 12 was the line that ended our friendship forever. And I'm okay with that now. Goodbye, Kemi. She hits send before she can second-guess herself. Then she closes her laptop, picks up her bag, and leaves the office. Outside, Lagos sparkles in the evening heat. Millions of lights from millions of lives all tangled together in the beautiful chaos of the city. Amara walks to her car, climbs in, and sits for a moment in the silence. Then she pulls out her phone and calls her mother, something she hasn't done enough of lately. "Hi, Mom. I know it's late, but I wanted to talk. I wanted to tell you about something that happened, and I wanted to ask for your advice." Her mother's warm voice fills the car, and for the first time in months, Amara feels like she's moving forward instead of drowning in the past. The lesson was hard, the cost was high, but she learned something invaluable. Sometimes the person you saved the most is the one who was drowning you slowly. And knowing when to let go isn't giving up, it's choosing yourself. Page 12 destroyed a friendship, but it also set her free. Have you ever had a friend who betrayed you after everything you did for them? Share your story in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button, because next week we're diving into an even more shocking tale. Her sister stole her identity and her entire life. Remember, not everyone who smiles with you is smiling for you. Protect your heart, know your worth, and never let anyone convince you that your kindness was a weakness. This is Fair African Tales, where we tell the stories that need to be heard. See you next time.